Just how good is Lord Xander the Collector on turn 3 in Explore? Let's find out. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Abrew About Nothing. And this week we are heading to Explore, which is kinda like mostly Pioneer, but not exactly Pioneer, Magic Arena Pioneer, and we are trying to figure out how good Xander is if you get it on the battlefield on turn 3 in a Vampire Shout. So let's talk about our Lord Xander Grixis Vampire deck, jump into some games of Explorer and see what the deck's about, and also see what this Explorer format is all about. So of course, we're built around Lord Xander the Collector, one of the most contentious cards maybe from Streets of New Capenna. It's massive, it's 7 mana, it's huge, it's a 6/6. When it ETBs, your opponent's gotta discard half their cards rounded down. When it attacks, you gotta mill half your opponent's library rounded down. And then when it dies, they gotta sack half their non-land permanents rounded down. So the question is, just how good is this card? Obviously, if you're casting it on turn 7 for 7 mana, it's gonna be kind of medium. Your opponent's probably not gonna have many cards left in hand. Who knows when it'll die? Milling can sometimes be a downside rather than an upside because you're filling your opponent's graveyard. But we're not trying to get Xander on the battlefield on turn 7. We're trying to get into play on turn 3 with Sorin, Imperious Bloodlord. Sorin, crazy planeswalker for a vampire deck, but the big payoff here is it's -3 lets us put a vampire onto the battlefield from our hand. So this means we can have both of these cards in hand, turn 3 Sorin, take it down, immediately Lord Xander, hopefully make our opponent discard a bunch of cards, and have this huge body on the battlefield. So that is the main goal of our deck, figuring out how good turn 3 Xander might be in Explorer. We also have championed us. Before Lord Xander came around, this was the big target for Sorin's -3. You tried to play Sorin in -3 and put Champion Dusk into play. It's still good. It draws us a bunch of cards, which is nice. But now Lord Xander, I think, is just the better option with Sorin's -3. But we do have both of them, because Champion Dusk is still a really good vampire card. We also got just a bunch of good vampires. Knight of the Even Legion gives us a good 1-drop. Dusk Legion Zealot draws us cards. Gifted Aetherborn, really good against creature decks thanks to Death Touch and Lifelink. Corpse Appraiser, another new addition that I really like. When it enters the battlefield, you basically get a strategic planning if you exile a creature from a graveyard. So it gives us a pretty good body, some card selection, and maybe even graveyard hate in some matchups. Removal-wise, pretty good in black in Explorer. We got Thoughtseize to pick apart our opponent's hand, Fatal Push, Heartless Act, Murderous Rider, Mana Base, pretty straightforward stuff, Sideboard. We get a bunch of graveyard hate, which is especially important with Lord Xander. One thing I ran into early with this deck is playing Xander on turn 3 with Sorin, attacking with it, and like milling a bunch of Cauldron Familiars or reanimation targets or flashback spells, which felt really, really bad. Like sometimes that mill half your opponent's deck attack trigger was actually a huge drawback rather than a positive. So to get around this, we got Leyline of the Void, we got Go Blank, we got more discard, duress for control decks, some card advantage, a bunch of removal for creature decks, and that is Lord Xander Grixis Vampires. That is our Much Abrew deck for this week. So let's jump into some games and see how good is Lord Xander on turn 3. How good is Grixis Vampires in the Explorer format? Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap up. Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom. You can pick up all the Magic the Gathering cards you need and support the show, and even get a free MTG Goldfish sticker by heading over to cardkingdom.com/MTG Goldfish. Much more about nothing time. We are exploring this week with some Grixis Lord Xander Vampires and Yariane. Blue-white control most likely. Let's just play this on black. Yeah, let's pass. I think we should have played this tapped. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. We want to try to get the Sorin down. Well, there's Xander. That's pretty good. Well, Watery Grave tapped. Thoughtseize you. Portable Hole. Birth of Meletis. Omen. Well, okay. We'll take the Omen. And this means it's Xander time. Unless our opponent top decks, like, all right, we're the Meletis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opponent's gonna have to discard a lot of cards. Turn 3 Xander is actually kind of legit. Play this on red. Sorin Imperious Bloodlord. Take it down. How about a Lord Xander the Collector? There goes half your hand on turn 3. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Discard those. Discard them all, friend. Opponent makes a 0/4. Now what, opponent? Land on red. Passes. Well, take up Sorin. Put a counter on Xander. Go attacking. Mill half your deck. I mean, opponent's got a pretty big deck, so they can afford to take this for a minute. Wow, Sarkle's Shark Typhoon. Alright, gets a Elspeth, interesting. Opponent's gonna block. I mean, I think we just Sorin. Keep the new one. Champion of Dust, draw a couple cards. Tap land, go. I mean, I feel like we're in decent shape. We'll see. Our board is off to a fast, wow, untap land. Narset, okay. Opponent, gonna take down the Narset. And scoops it up. All right, that went pretty well. Duress is in, Go Blanks in, Sorin in. Go down, Fatal Pushes. And I guess Heartless Axe. Gifted Aetherborn's not that great against control. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you Xander on turn 3. It's pretty good, pretty good. That was not bad. I wonder, it might be possible you should be playing Leyline of the Void to get around the graveyard. Hey, well, we're gonna keep this. We don't have the Sorin. The Thought Seizes are good though, and we could draw a Sorin. Well, Hive of the Eye Tyrant, Thought Seize you. Transmogrify, eh? Well, we're gonna take the Omen. We can take the Transmogrify later. Opponent, land. Oh my god, there is the Sorin. Well, Thought Seize you? Take a Transmogrify. I mean, that is frightening. That is frightening. Our opponent can do some busted stuff with the Transmogrify if they make a token. Opponent, land. Narset. All right, takes it down. Oh, they're gonna get 2 activations too. Gets an Omen. Well, we will play the land. Sorin. Take it down. Lord Xander. Make it discard 2. We're the Melitus. Ooh, that's gonna turn on the Transmogrify. That is an issue. That is an issue. We might be dead. Opponent takes down. Elspeth. Well, tick up Sorin on the Lord Xander. Hit our opponent for 7. Mill half your deck. Go blank. Play the land. Knight of the Eben Legion. But I think our opponent's going to get to Transmogrify and steal the Lord Xander. Wow, we wrecked him, but this Transmogrify, I think, is going to come through. Opponent finds an Agent of Treachery, steals the Lord Xander. Well, tick up on the Knight of the Eben Legion. Attack our opponent. Down to 10. Gifted Aetherborn. Go. I don't know if we can beat this Xander or not. We absolutely wrecked our opponent, but they managed to keep 1 card in hand. That second Transmogrify. Opponent keeps 1 on top. Attacks. Mills. Well, I mean, we gotta make the trade, unfortunately. Sack the Sorin. Opponent. All right, takes you Arion. Attack Narset. Go blank. Empty your hand again. Pass the turn. I mean, maybe we can still close this out. Opponent, just a land. Well, play Big Sorin. And opponent done. Oh, okay. We survived the Transmogrify into steal our stuff, and that is the power in Lord Xander. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. I do wonder, do you think Go Blank's enough, or do we just gotta play ley lines? Go Blank was so good in that matchup. I think we keep it, maybe. The problem is, that's the one question I've had for this deck, and I keep going back and forth. The problem is Lord Xander's mill ability can be a negative. I just don't know. Go blank though, there's so many control decks in Explore. It's one of the best decks. And against a deck like that, Go blank is great. Great. Leyline, kind of a dead card. So I think we're gonna stick with this, I think. Yeah, all right, let's keep going. On to the next. Much brew about nothing time. We are finding out if turn 3 Xander is good enough for Explorer / Pioneer. And after my big spiel about not adding Leyline, I added Leyline. There's too many cat oven decks in this format. I think it's just a necessary evil. Well, okay. Let's find a Xander. We got the Sorin. We just need the Xander to go with it. We haven't got Xander's Lounge. Not as effective with Sorin though, unfortunately. Green mana. Well, okay. Xander's Lounge. Go. Xander's Lounge a pretty nice addition to the deck, I think. It makes going Grixis a lot less painful. About it. Werewolf Pack Leader. Well, land and Gifted Aetherborn. Go. See if our opponent has a fight spell. Do you have the Fatal Push? Probably better known as Blizzard Brawl. The green Fatal Push. Gifted Aetherborn pretty good against mono green. You know, it'd be really good. Lord Xander off the top to put into play with Sorin on turn 3. All right, land and Fatal Push. Another Pack Leader, and then Fatal Push. We're gonna block. We will take that trade. More Sorins. Well, play the land. Yeah, I think we're just gonna Swift End here. Easy-cause Chariot. Well, yeah, that is an issue. We're still gonna kill the Pack Leader, but could really use that Xander. This would be a good time to draw that Xander, because these cats are coming. And they're not going to stop. Many Sorins, but not really anything to do with the Sorins is super awkward. Sorin Flood, Thoughtseize. Well, Dusk Legion Zealot, draw a card. This is not what we wanted to see, though. Into something good. Okay, that's actually something good. We will pass the turn. That's a removal spell for the Chariot. So that means we're not just going to straight up immediately lose here. All right, that counts. Land. We still want to draw Xander or something, though. Old Growth Troll. Yeah. Opponent's going to crew, and then we're going to kill. More of a dog person, really. Chariot. Sure. Opponent's down to 1 card. Yeah, kill the Chariot. Opponent hits us down to 15. Haha, there we go. All right, so Thoughtseize you. See what you got going on. I think it's Xander time. Oh, get rid of that oddity. Sorin. Xander, even though our opponent's empty-handed, it's still a 6/6. And if our opponent kills it, look out. Yeah, get him for 1. I guess turn, I don't even know what turn this is, 5, Xander? Not quite super impactful immediately. Good news is I don't think milling this deck really matters, so we are free to attack, and giving this lifelink is kind of big. Like, even when Xander is bad, just a 6/6 Vampire is bigger than anything else the tribe has to offer, so even that with Sorin's lifelink is pretty good against aggro. Also, is this a standard deck? This looks very standardy for, I mean, I guess all these cards also see Pioneer play in mono green. Normally mono green is though a Nykthos deck, and we don't have Nykthos in Explorer yet, so maybe you gotta be more aggro-y rather than rampy. I mean, little does our opponent know we have a handful of Sorins. Opponent just really wants to kill a Sorin. Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Our opponent doesn't know that we have 2 more Sorins in hand, so they're really valuing getting this one off the battlefield, but I don't think it's going to work out for him because we just have, you're going to send that cat too? All right, well, kill it. Kill the one attacking us. Sorin can die. Maybe they do a fight effect. All right, Vinwald Oddity. This is what, 8 to flip? 7. So opponent's not there yet. Well, we're going to play a Sorin. I'm going to play the land. Take up on Xander. Get in for 7. Melee a bunch. One of the upsides of Xander is we do get to see what our opponent's playing. This actually looks very standardy. Opponent goes to 12. Also, the other synergy with Sorin Xander is we can always sack the Xander. Sculptor of Winter. That does mean our opponent's 1 land away from flipping this, which would be bad. Opponent, go do some attacking. No blocks. Down to 18 for the time being. Even more Sorins. Go to combat. Xander you. Opponent going to block. Well, that's fine. That means our... if our opponent doesn't block, a land lets him flip this, which we don't want. So opponent's going to take it. Awkwardly, this means we're gonna play Sorin again. Actually, you know what? This is a little risky, but we're gonna hit you. Even if they flip, we're not dead. And then in theory, we just Sorin, Xander, Helix, win. All right, Pose gives it up. Well, that was not the fastest Xander ever, but apparently it was fast enough. Feed the Swarm in. Power Word Kill in. Colligan's Command possibly in. Go down, 1 Dusk Legion Zealot. Go down 1 Thoughtseize. Go down, Gifted Aetherborn's great. Colligan's Command kills Chariot. That's the main upside. What do we cut? We can go down 1 Corpse Appraiser. Corpse Appraiser is very strong, but it is kind of just a value card. And it's not that big against green. Like, green's 3 drops are big enough to get through it, which is not great. You know what? Let's go down another Thoughtseize. I think that's fine. Run it like that. All right, turn 3 Xander Nut Draw. Let's see it. Well, this feels like a good Xander matchup. Being big is good. Milling is not a drawback against mono green. And then making your opponent sacrifice stuff is fine. So this seems like Xander's time to shine. Opponent on the play. All right, well, we got the Sorin. We could use the Xander off the top. Sand's a little sketchy just because it's so land heavy. Please not a land. Please, please no. Literally any non-land. Land. All right, well, we'll try again next turn. Literally any non-land. I mean, Xander over the next 2 turns is the best because we got the Sorin, but at this point, we got a land heavy hand, so we are not going to be picky. Opponent can put a lot of power on the board pretty quick, and they're on the play. So if we just keep drawing lands, we're going to be in trouble. Okay, opponent does nothing. Oh my god. All right, even more lands. That's okay. That's okay. That just means we're getting closer to the Xander, which is going to come off the top. It's the 50th card in the library coming off the top of our deck, or I guess 51st, right? It needs to be the 51st. Hopefully it's not the 50th. Opponent passing. Well, opponent did not get off to the fast start, which is nice. All right, Gifted Aetherborn. That is something. That is something. It is not another land, so we'll count that as a win. Play the tap land past the turn. Opponent. Well, if our opponent hasn't played anything, they gotta have a handful of Chariots in like 4 and 5, busted 4 and 5 drops. Nothing. Another Gifted Aetherborn. All right, go to combat, attack you. Well, maybe our opponent also has a land heavy hand because they're not really doing a whole lot either. I do like double Gifted Aetherborn. Outside of just Xandering, it's probably just our best card against our opponent's deck. Gifted Aetherborn. Number 2. Castle Lockwayne. Go. What is their hand? I thought our hand was slow, and our opponent's hand is somehow even, okay, the turn 4 1 drop. Yeah. All right, there's the green Fatal Push. I guess they have a handful of fight spells, maybe? Are we just going again? Opponent passes. Well, Thoughtseize you. Wow, okay, handful of protection and fight spells. Well, we'll just take the Invoke the Agents. So if we play the land and tick up the Sorin, and then still kill it, maybe they draw land and try to kick? All right, let's just play Castle Dracula. Yeah, I guess we'll go attacking. Wait, is this indestructible? Hexproof and indestructible. So again, this and this? Yeah, whatever, sure. I mean, if our opponent wants to spend 2 cards to give this +1/+1 and kill Gifted Aetherborn, I think we're okay with that. All right, opponent takes it. We'd really like something more to do with this Sorin before we play it. Right now it's putting a counter on Gifted Aetherborn, which still dies. Blizzard Brawl Part 2. Sure. Well, at least we're up to 26. Opponent gets and hits us. Is it worth paying 5 to draw a card? I actually kind of think it is. This is so greedy, but all right. Castle Lockwayne. No fear, no fear. 5 life for 1 card. No problem. Those are actually pretty good draws. Now we can play this on black. Knight of the Ebon Legion. Champion of Dusk. I mean, we're gonna find Xander eventually. Draw 2, most likely. If opponent wants to double spell to fight, that's a huge win for us. Like, yes, you fizzle a card draw. That's wonderful. Wow, what a weird draw for our opponent. I actually think our opponent might have really overloaded on protection. All right, opponent trades it off. We draw only 1. All right, more lands. Well, pass the turn. Well, at this point, we can just hardcast Xander. Werewolf Pack Leader. All right, actually drew a real card. Castle Dracula. Well, I mean, we're gonna play Sorin. We're gonna tick up, gain some life, go to combat, attack ya. All right, opponent down to 11. Well, Watery Grave tapped past the turn. So they can just pump and kill Sorin if they want, which is fine. Ooh, Uvenwald Oddity. It's actually a pretty good one for our opponent. Goes to combat. They get to draw a card too. So both at Sorin draws a card. Well, all right. Kolaghan's Command. Discard and get back a Gifted Aetherborn. All right, there goes the safekeeping. Sorin down. Oh my god, even more like, jeez, we've drawn a lot of lands. That is a huge number of lands. Well, Gifted Aetherborn. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Land on black. Hit ya. Well, these were not the most explosive draws, but it's nice to know. It's always a good feeling to know your deck can win even when it's not running super well. This game, we just drew nine lands. It's a lot. More than half of our draws have been lands, and I still think we're winning. I don't know about our opponent's sideboard plan. They just, so many non-creatures. I think what makes mono green scary in a format like Explorer or Pioneer is its threats are great. Like, that's the reason to play mono green, is you just get such like above the curve creatures. I feel like some amount of protection is fine, but if you just overload on all these non-creature spells, you're running games like this where you just like don't hit a creature in a timely manner, and that's the worst. Like, then you're giving up your biggest competitive advantage. Like, the thing that makes your deck good, you're just not embracing that enough. So no offense to our opponent, of course, but that's how I would play mono green. It's kind of like, classic example is modern burn. When you're playing against burn and you got some graveyard stuff in your deck and the burn opponent brings in like a rest in peace and you do the little fist pump because you know, like, your deck would be you're more likely to beat me, and it's much more scarier if that rest in peace that you draw is actually just another burn spell and you just kill me with it, rather than taking a turn and taking mana to put a rest in peace on the battlefield. I feel like it's kind of the same way with this mono green deck. Like, yes, fist pump, Tamiyo safekeeping. That's not some big hasty stompy thing that's just like putting my life total to 0. So we will take it. We will take as many Tamiyo safekeepings and Snakeskin Veils as you want to put in your deck, please. All right, opponent, Inscription of Abundance, gonna kill the champion. I don't think our opponent can attack though because of this Hive of the Eye Tyrant. We're a removal spell away from lethal. Actually, no, because of the Snakeskin Veil. So we're not a removal spell away from lethal, but our opponents, they can't attack here, they just get menaced. I guess we just attack with the Aetherborn. I mean, hopefully our opponent realizes they can't attack here. That would be choosing death. Don't do it, opponent. Don't do it. There's a creature. We attacked you with the creature land last turn. Don't even think about it. Okay. Oh, all right. Well done, opponent. Well done. We draw even more lands. Well, play Castle Dracula. You know what? I think we just draw with Castle Lochwain. Draw a card. This has been the floodiest draw. All right, Champion Dusk is good. Play Champion. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Draw a couple. Oh, wait. Our opponent's at 9. Just kidding. Take back all those things I said about our opponent being dead. I forgot they kicked the Inscription in game 6. I was thinking they were at 3, so they actually could have attacked there. I'm the one that was missing something about it. Did you draw another fight spell? Where's our Xanders? Where's our Xanders? We can easily hardcast Xanders at this point. About it. Wow, getting in. Maybe do another safekeeping. Seems like a easy block. Gifted Aetherburn's so good against. Oh, they did draw another safekeeping. Wow, so many. Fist pump. So many of them. That is so. We don't even have that much removal. Our opponent, I think, has way more protection spells than we have removal spells. Please stop drawing lands. Oh my goodness. And our deck says no. Well, play the Sorin. Take it up on the Champion of Dusk. Fire up Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Play Watery Grave tapped. How many lands have we drawn? Go attacking. Eat something. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? 12 out of 22 in 0 Xanders. So we're gonna lose a Sorin, but the amount of life we're gaining is pretty helpful. And again, we're getting our opponent low enough on life that it's gonna be hard for them to attack. Hive of the Eye Tyrant having Menace. Traditionally not the most useful ability, but it's actually really big here. It's putting our opponent dead on board, like super duper dead on board. They have to kill Sorin, but if they kill Sorin, oh yeah, they're dead. They kill Sorin, they die to Hive of the Eye Tyrant. They don't kill Sorin, they die to Sorin. So I think that just does it. That's how you win when you draw so many lands. That was not the prettiest running. Not the prettiest running. No Xanders. No, not only was there not a turn 3 Xander, there was just no Xander, period, but a win's a win. Opponent. All right, opponent does get a redraw. Wait, you're not attacking Sorin at all? Apparently our opponent chose, I mean, I think they were dead either way. Yeah. So opponent just gonna do their thing, hit us to 7. We draw another land. Well, we will finish it off with Sorin. And opponent. Wow, did we draw an insane amount of lands. We'll take it. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are trying to see if turn 3 Xander is good enough for Explorer / Pioneer / whatever you want to consider this format. Basically the same thing-ish. Ooh, is this a sack deck? Looks like. So many food decks. Well, we did end up adding the ley lines to the sideboard, which, oh my god, we found it. All right, let's see. Don't thought seize us, please, please. We got the turn 3. If we don't get thought seized. All right, black mana. Cat. Trail of Crumbs. All right. Well, looks like Xander time to me. Untap land. Sorin. Take it down. And here comes our Lord Xander. Gonna collect a couple cards from our opponent's hand. Not the worst. Land in a fatal push, and I mean, we might as well attack. Our opponent can block and get it back. They probably actually want it in the graveyard. They should, yeah. They should wait and trigger the Trail of Crumbs, most likely. Opponent, more Gilded Geese. Well, let the great millening begin. Opponent, Cauldron Familiar. Without the Witch's Oven, this is less scary. With the Witch's Oven, it's super obnoxious. Wow, they whiffed. And I don't know if I've ever seen this deck whiff on a Trail of Crumbs activation. Well, here's our ley lines. We added them specifically for this matchup. Because we want to be able to attack with Xander without losing. What are we going down? We can go down to probably a couple of Corpse Appraisers. Gifted Aetherborn's not that great in this matchup. It just gets cat ovened so many times. Go blank does work really well. We need enough vampires. Are we going to creature light here? How many creatures? Wow, it pops up right like this. 17. I mean, that's not horrible. Let's keep a second Corpse Appraiser. Maybe go down like one Fatal Push. And keep the dust. Yeah, let's try it like that. That's fine. Leyline really, really good. It's really good. It stops the cat oven annoyingness. That's why we added it to the deck. Like, specifically, this deck, for some reason, I play a lot. Sample size small, but like 50% of the time. Ooh, that's the leyline. Yes. Please, Yorgo opponent. Would you like to scoop? Are we done? Are we donezo already? Witch's Oven. Well, that's probably more leylines than we need, but, yeah, let's just Thoughtseize. Yeah, we'll take Deadly Dispute. Hopefully we find the removal to deal with the Mayhem Devils. Opponent, untap land, and Trail of Crumbs. Well, Knight of the Even Legion. Blood Crypt. Well, we would still love to find a Xander. Opponent, untap land, and Mayhem Devil. I'll play the land. Go to combat, attack ya. And then I guess we just pump awkwardly. Growing it makes it hard for our opponent to kill it with Mayhem Devil. At least with one Mayhem Devil. 2 is another story. Mayhem Devil gets and hits us. And a land. Corpse Appraiser, but nothing in the graveyard yet. We can Sorin sack this to kill a Mayhem Devil. The other option is just to stay on defense and pump. That stops our opponent from attacking. It is weak to a removal spell. That gets us good. Man, no attacks. Ooh, boy, are we gonna lose through the lane line? Possibly. Double Mayhem Devil's pretty good. Oh my god, another Trail of Crumbs. That's more food, that's more card draw. But our opponent doesn't have the mana. So they get to ping us, but They don't get to draw with the Trail of Crumbs. Okay. Sure, gain some life. Land. Opponent's out of cards. Opponent passes. All right, land is good. So now we get to Dusk Legion Zealot. Draw a card. Lose a life. Land on black. Sorin. Lightning Helix. To shoot down Mayhem Devil. Yeah, opponent gonna shoot down the Sorin. So opponent does get to fizzle the life gain. No attacks. All right, Cauldron Familiar. Would be more of a problem if we did not have... If we didn't have the ley line. We really need a removal spell for this Mayhem Devil. If we can hit a removal spell for the Mayhem Devil, we're like kind of stable. Well, it's a little frightening. All right, land. Kills the Sorin. Goes attacking. Down to 8. Untap land for some reason. Well, Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of Dusk Legion Zealot. Anticipate. And we'll take the Fatal Push. Question is, are we thought seizing this? We drop to 6, 5, 4. But this is gonna deal at least 2. Yeah. This is brutal, but I think we gotta do it. Thoughtseize, get rid of the Meat Hook Massacre. All right, pass the turn. Yeah, we really need to hit removal for Mayhem Devil. Wow, all right. Cashes in the cat, pings us down to 5. Go attacking. Yeah, we might just be getting burnt out here. Opponent, Deadly Dispute. Wow, that's a really good draw. Oh, opponent's gonna refill their hand. Yeah, Trail of Crumbs does get around ley line pretty... Wow, they whiffed again? How are they whiffing so much? What? What is our opponent's deck that they're whiffing this much with Trail of Crumbs? I'm so confused. Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah, we're dead. Well, that's unfortunate. Wow, maybe we just cannot beat the sack deck no matter what we do. Yeah, there's no out now. Lord Xander, can't cast it. Well, that was... Leyline is supposed to be our game over. Like, we added it just for this matchup. It's supposed to be our game over spell. Our opponent managed to draw triple Mayhem Devil, and that was enough. Maybe we don't want all the Kolaghan's commands. Maybe we want more. Let's bring in the power word kill. The problem with Kolaghan's command is it doesn't really kill much. It kills Witch's Oven, which is nice if we don't have Leyline. If we do have Leyline, then we don't really care as much about Witch's Oven. All right, we get to play first. We're gonna keep this, it's fine. No Leyline, but we got a nice little aggro start, and we're currently live for a Lord Xander, which is sweet. Knight of the Eben Legion, opponent. Tap land. Well, there's some removal. Let's just Castle Dracula, Dusk Legion Zealot, draw a card, and it's Lord Xander. Well, actually, Champion of Dusk might even be better than Lord Xander here if we don't get Thought Seized. So net tap land passes. Well, okay. Blood Crypt untapped. Go to combat, attack you. Sorin. This is the old Sorin line before Lord Xander came around. Just put a Champion of Dusk into play. Refuel. Well, I like that we have a lot of removal, and we have a Leyline, so we actually might be in pretty good shape here. Like, this is a pretty fast little start. Turn 3 Champion of Dusk is not bad. Mayhem Devil. Well, we will sack the Dusk Legion Zealot, kill the Mayhem Devil. Opponent pings the Sorin. Yeah, and we're just gonna get down our Leyline while we can. I guess we should have done it first, but it doesn't really matter. All right, opponent down to 11, Leyline online, and yeah, this is just a nice little aggro start. Leyline did not win his game too, but we won the game, and we are finally out of the dregs of silver. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Much brew about nothing time. We are trying to see if turn 3 Lord Xander good enough for Explorer and or Pioneer. Well, okay. We're a land away. We're a land away from the dream. Assuming we don't get Thoughtseize, which is always a risk. Doubly so against a black deck. Actually, no, let's just play this on black and Knight of the Eben Legion. Go. Well, come on, one more land. One more land. Opponent. Dragon Skull Summit. That's not a land. Well, play this on black. Hit ya. Oh no. Are we gonna do the hard part of having Sorin Lord Xander, but not the easy part? Do we want to fatal push this? Yeah, we'll let it go. I think there's some argument to fatal pushing just to fizzle the Bone Crusher so our opponent can't cast it, because we can't fatal push it now, yeah. But we're just gonna draw a land and play Lord Xander and be super happy. Or not. Oh no. Oh no, not like this. Not like this. We had the turn 3 Lord Xander draw. We just, oh no. Oh no. We're even a 24 land deck. It's not like we're super greedy. Opponent. Oh, they're Grixis. Oh! Magic games! Ah, jeez. Oh, I just want to do cool things. Opponent takes the Corpse Appraiser, goes to combat, gets in, hits us. Down to 16. Opponent left the Lord Xander. That might mean they don't care, or they have a counter for the Sorin. Well, none of this matters unless we draw land number 3. Ah, that's like the most disappointing. The most disappointing. We should have had a Xander last turn, stopping this Bone Crusher and wrecking our opponent, but yeah, that's magic. Tanking, passing. We draw! Well, we finally draw land number 3. Does it even matter? Sorin. Okay, the clock runneth down. I wonder if our opponent regrets not taking the Xander now. All right, resolves. Well, Sorin put a vampire into play. Wait, did we just scare him off? Yeah, Lord Xander. If our opponent has instant speed removal, this is not that bad for him. They can cast a removal spell, have 3 cards in hand, discard 1, and then they only have 1 permanent, so they discard 0. Wow, okay, 2 commands. Well, that was not the worst Xander. About it. Better late than never, but we'll take it. Ashiok. Going to bounce the Xander. We'll discard the Fatal Push for now. And then kill the Sorin. Oh, so this is just like a Grixis Crim deck by the looks. I mean, I guess we just gotta kill Ashiok probably. Kill Ashiok. Play Blood Crypt. Would have been so much better if we hit the land a turn earlier. Missing the land for that 1 turn was pretty brutal. Brutal to the point where I think we are probably just gonna be dead now. I guess we had to discard the Xander at this point. That 1 turn missing the land drop totally just swung this game. We had to skip a turn and did literally nothing with the full combo in hand. And that great land, now we drew all the lands. Oh, why do you hate us, Magic Gods? Why? I get to put the Champion of Dusk into play, draw a card. Play Xander's Lounge. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we can chain some removal together. We need to find a way to kill this Nicole Bolas or we're dead. We will block. Drop to 5. Opponent. More Bone Crushing down to 3, and even more Bone Crushing. Well, if we can Corpse Appraiser into a removal spell that can kill Nicole Bolas, we got a shot. So get rid of Bone Crusher. Whiff hard. Die. All right. Well, I mean, I guess technically we're not dead. We can take the Champion of Dusk. Play Knight of the Even Legion. Wait. Yeah, only target of a spell. So we go up to 6. We kill the Bone Crusher. So not fully dead. Land means they get to flip this, though. And that's a pretty dead. Ugh. Expressive Iteration. Draws a bunch of cards. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. That's also bad. Plays it. Hits us down to 2. You have 2 damage. If you do, you should cast your spell. March of Wretched Sorrows. Yeah, so we're still just dead. All right. Well, I think Lord Xander wrecks this deck. The problem is we didn't hit our land in time. Oh, that was so painful. So painful. We're gonna go down Fatal Pushes. Go up to Feed the Swarm. Go up to Go Blanks. A couple of Gifted Aetherborns maybe. All right, maybe 3 Gifted Aetherborns. All right, run it like that. We didn't really answer our question if turn 3 Xander was good enough because we missed that land drop. I really think we would have won if we hit the land 1 turn earlier. Our opponent would have been under a lot more pressure and had to discard a lot more cards. And then we probably wouldn't have got Thoughtseize. Like, everything just snowballed because of that missed land drop. This hand could use a Sorin. I think we're gonna shock ourselves to Thoughtseize. So in turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 redraw for Sorin if we find it, turn 3 Xander. With Thoughtseize theoretically giving us some protection, but we'll see. All right, opponent keeps. Well, Blood Crypt untapped. Going down to 60 and Thoughtseize you. Wrath, Kolaghan's Command, Thoughtseize. Well, we're gonna take the Thoughtseize. Never fun to be the one that casts the Thoughtseize to take the Thoughtseize, but considering our opponent's hand, I think it's the right choice. Castle Dracula, Dusk Legion, Zealot, and Sorin, please. Knight of the Ebon Legion. Opponent tap land. Well, Dusk Legion, Zealot, draw a card. Land untapped down to 12, dress you. Yeah, let's take Kolaghan's Command. Leave our opponent with all the wraths in the world. We would like to start drawing lands again, actually. Or Sorins. Lands or Sorins. Opponent, tap land, passes. Well, that is a land. So play the land, go to combat, attack you. And yeah, I think we're just making a blood token. We'd love to Champion of Dust, draw 3. That would be helpful. Scared of a Nicole Bolas off the top. Opponent's gonna languish. All right, so make our blood token. This does make our Champion of Dust less exciting. Corpse Appraiser's good, though. Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of Dusk Legion, Zealot. Take... I think we actually just take the land, honestly. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. Let's take Xander's Lounge. Play Xander's Lounge. Pass the turn. Because we can just hardcast these Champion of Dusks. And then hardcast Lord Xander. I think at this point, if it was earlier, Sorin would be ideal. But since it's a little late, I think we're better just waiting. Opponent gonna cling to Dust to draw a card. Okay. And passing. Well, go to combat. Attack you. Takes it. Well, Champion of Dusk. This Extinction Event's actually going to be pretty decent. Okay, Bone crushes our face. I would like to point out that is the literal first damage that our opponent has dealt to us. The other 10 is all been us doing it to ourselves. There's the Extinction Event. Nod. Well, we untap. Swamp. Xander. Get rid of one of the 2 cards. Opponent does have a sneaky amount of random burn in their deck. Bone Crushers. We saw multiple, the Prismari Command and Kolaghan's Command. So we do got to be aware that our opponent does have some direct damage. Opponent's going to pitch. Do they even have a creature? Oh, they hit something. Oh, they hit a Nicole Bolas. All right. Well, go to combat. Xander, yeah. Mill a bunch of cards. Play Knight of the Ebon Legion. Ouch. Go to 5. Land tapped. Go. Grow. I mean, this lets us win through Nicole Bolas. I mean, we have a ton of removal in hand anyway. Wow, this is like suicidal vampires. We have taken so much damage off of our own cards. How about it? Nika B. Sure. Probably gonna discard Feed the Swarm. A little bit too much of a life payment here. And Thought Erasure. Well, that's fine. We got 2 removal spells, so we got them. Well, that went pretty well. This was all hardcast the Lord Xander plan, but good enough. Opponent, sure, surveils. Untap. Swift and Nicole Bolas. And Xander, yeah. Hit you for a little 12er. Could be more if we wanted to pump. All right, let's look at our opponent's deck before they die. All right, so this is just, I mean, it is just Grixis control. All the planeswalkers, all the removal, all the sweepers. Well, we know what they're up to. Do we have anything else that's good against planeswalkers? I mean, I guess this is it. We want all the discard. Could even go down another Gifted Aetherborn. It's just not great. Let's bring in a Kolaghan's Command. I think getting back like a Champion of Dusk or Corpse Appraiser, probably better than a Gifted Aetherborn. Gifted Aetherborn's good against big ground creatures. It is weak against control decks, in decks with a bunch of flyers, and our opponent is exactly the kind of deck where Gifted Aetherborn is at its worst. I mean, a little life gain's fine. It's not like it's stone unplayable, but definitely not one of its stronger matchups. We are on the draw. Lord Xander versus Grixis control. Is it good enough? Yeah, all right, we got a Xander. I mean, this hand's fine. No Sorin, but it's fine. Opponent, untap land. Huh. Are you going to be the one to Thoughtseize this turn? Probably. It feels so bad though, because you're the one that spends the mana and the life in this case. But yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Tap land. Go. I mean, Sorin would be spectacular with double Xander. Opponent, all of the Storm Giants. Cling to Dust to draw a card. Watery Grave, tapped. Please no Planeswalker. Tap land. Oh my goodness. Well, this is awkward. We're seeing the downside. We're seeing the downside of our Lord and Savior Xander. Oh, 3 of them is a high number of very expensive cards. Oh, there's the Sorin. The problem is we can't. Yeah, we gotta wait. We could run out Sorin. It'd be so much better if we could find a Thoughtseize to clear the way first. Or if our opponent. Wow. Lots of discarding of Tignuma for no value for our opponent. Or if our opponent taps out for something like this. Okay, so we will kill that. Untap. Oh my goodness. Actually, wow. This is so awkward, but I think it is actually better to start drawing with Sorin the Mirthless since we drew a second one. Yes, we'll take the land. We'll play the land tapped. Well, Lord Xander's gonna have to, at some point we're gonna cast a lot of Lord Xanders. We'll see if it's enough. Opponent would still love to find a Thoughtseize. Opponent has a Nicol Bolas. Are we killing the Sorin? Yes. Okay. I'll play Sorin. Put a Xander into play. Get rid of a card. Play the tap land. All right, can you kill the Xander now? We do need to get rid of this Nicol Bolas. Like that is goal 1 and 2 and 3. All right, opponent ticks up. We'll get rid of Xander 2. Opponent, land. I guess I can haul the Storm Giant to attack Sorin? Hooligan's command to kill the Sorin. Do you have even more removal? We're gonna give our opponent a lot of fuel for this cling it does, aren't we? Xander's milling is a downside a lot of the time. But I mean, we gotta do it. We can't not do it. So go to combat. Attack the Bolas, mill half your deck, unfortunately. I wish this was a May, because we would definitely choose no here if we had the option. All right, so Nikki B down. Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of a Nicol Bolas. Anticipate. I guess a Thoughtseize would be fine. All right, opponent kills it. So we can't duress Katosi, so I guess we're just taking a Knight of the Even Legion, playing a Knight of the Even Legion, passing the turn. So if they Katosi, they can, I guess you take either the Heartless Act or the Sorin, the Mirthless. Baleful Mastery gets rid of Xander. Do we just Xander again, even though it doesn't really do anything? I mean, it is a vampire. Yeah, let's do it. Xander number 2. Hit you for 1. The more vampires, the more card draw with this champion it does. Maybe we're getting there. So Katosi, when it enters a battlefield, exile a card other than a basics from graveyard, exile all of them. And then as long as you can control it, you can play one of the exiled cards. Expressive Iteration, gonna do some drawing of cards. Opponent does only have 18 cards left in their deck. Ashiok. Plays it. Yeah, get rid of the Xander, unfortunately. Oh, I want to draw cards, but it is a little risky. If we draw and we don't hit a land, then we can't kill the Ashiok, and then we got to deal with the Ashiok dorks. Oh, we got to do it, though. Champion of Dusk. Draw 2. Hopefully an untap land. All right, so we hit the land. So play the land. Pump the Knight of the Even Legion. Kill Ashiok. Pass the turn. Well, this has been a close game. Interesting close match. So as much as we were complaining about the milling being a downside, and it kind of is, it is also kind of a clock now. Opponent has a Narset. Gonna dig for a Wrath, I assume. Hitting one would be annoying, because then we can't Champion of Dust to draw cards. Looking at our creatures. All right, well, opponent, it's perfect card. Extinction Event. Well, all right, Murderous Rider. Kill the Narset. Champion of Dust, draw a card. Play the land. Pass the turn. Could use a Castle Lockwain. If we're going to keep drawing lands, Castle Lockwain's the one we want. Opponent finally runs up a Katosi. What are they going after? So they can exile all of our Sorin Imperious Bloodlords, but they don't do much for our opponent's deck. Corpse Appraiser, maybe, for the redraw? Although they don't have the mana. And our opponent's only got 14 cards, which could be a thing. Duress has some appeal, I assume, but doesn't do anything immediately. I don't know what our opponent takes. I guess the easy choice is just take Heartless Act, kill Champion of Does. Like, that's a fine. Yeah, opponent's gonna go with that. So opponent gets to kill the Champion of Dust. Well, hopefully we draw another Vampire. Drawing 2 off this would be a lot nicer than drawing 1. So opponent steals our Heartless Act. Kills the Champion of Dust. Well, play Champion of Dusk. Draw a card. Duress our opponent. Take the Kolaghan's Command. Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of the Nicole Bolas. Yeah, Go Blank seems good. We're going to take the Go Blank. There will be a question as to whether we can resolve it, but if we can, it's so good here. Still would like a Castle Lockwain. Yeah, let's trade. What did they find? Planeswalker off the top would be pretty bad. And we got to deal with this Hall of the Storm Giants. All right, opponent finds a removal spell. Well, all right, Murderous Rider. Are we countering? All right, so opponent counters. Well, this is going to be close. Go blank to get rid of the graveyard. But our opponent has this Hall of the Storm Giants, which is a lot of damage, and they left the card on top. Opponent not firing up Hall of the Storm Giants. All right, well, we get to draw a card. Castle Lockwain's huge. That is a huge draw. That gives us a shot here. Well, drawing a land is bad. Knight of the Even Legion. Might be another counter. Wow, what a close match this ended up being. It is another Sabotage. Okay. Mills the land. Well, play the land. Castle Lockwain. That's not good. Uh-oh. This is a sketchy spot. Wow, what a close game. Win or lose, this was a really interesting match. It shows that our deck can definitely go toe-to-toe with these control decks. We'll see who pulls it. It's going to come down to, I guess, whoever just runs slightly better here. Yeah, here comes the Hall. So we're dropping to 3. I'll make a blood token. Gonna need to hit something here. Champion of Dusk, okay? Well, play the land. Champion of Dusk. Drop to 2, which is a sketchy spot because of burn. Discard the land. Oh, not like this. Yeah, I think we're dead. Oh, no. Well, we said it was going to come down to who runs better right here at the end, and that was not good running. Land. Opponent, Hall of the Storm Giants, fires it up. Goes to combat. Well, I mean, make a blood token. Sack the blood token, discard this useless land. Oh, no! Oh, no. Oh, boy. Inopportune time for a huge pocket of lands, I will admit. Okay, so how do we do this? 1, 2, 3. Kolaghan's Command. You discard a card. We get back a Corpse Raiser or a Corpse Appraiser. The problem is 2 is an amount of life points where we can die to a Bone Crusher Giant. Okay. Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of Knight of the Even Legion. Anticipate. Oh my goodness. Okay. Kolaghan's Command. Bone Crusher. Oh, they probably still have some in their deck, don't they? Oh, this is so tough. So we take Go Blank, we get rid of this card, which could be lethal, but our opponent could still top deck. We can take Sorin and then draw with Castle Lockwain. Yeah, all right. So take Sorin. Play the land. Play Sorin. Castle Lockway. Vampire, please. Oh my god, even more lands. Well, Tig up. Oh, so many lands. I don't even know why I feel like we've drawn all of them. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, all right, so we've drawn a lot. There's 6 left out of our last 17 cards. Well, let's see if we're dead. Well, not yet. All the Storm Giants goes to combat. We need to find a way to gain life. Yeah, we got a block. We can't even draw with Castle Lockway at the moment. We need like multiple vampires in a row. Land for our opponent. Oh my god, even more lands. Well, cycle Xander's Lounge. That doesn't help. Make a blood token. Activate the blood token. Discard Feed the Swarm. Knight of the Eben Legion. Tick up on Knight of the Eben Legion. Pass the turn. You know they're gonna draw a burn spell. You know it's gonna happen. I mean, I guess if they can get removal that's cheap enough to also fire up the Hall of the Storm Giants, that also does it, like a fatal push. Opponent's passing. All right, we draw even more lands. Well, we will make a blood token. Okay, that might have been a mistake. Let's take up on Knight of the Eben Legion. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Play this on black. Go to combat attack. I mean, if our opponent has nothing, then this Knight of the Eben Legion is kind of absurd. Pump it. Pump it. Is this a trap? Hit ya? Okay. So we go up to 10. We discard the Watery Grave. I mean, this puts us out of the range of a 2 damage burn spell, which is what we were trying to do. We could have pumped another time, but we wanted the chance, if our opponent had removal, to be able to... Okay, here they come. Are we gonna win this? 10 means we don't die to Bone Crusher, or to Prismari Command, or to Kolaghan's Command. So I think we're out of burn range. Opponent really needs a removal spell. And this also turns on Castle Lockway, which is big. I mean, opponent needs something, or this Knight gets him. Opponent cracks. No lands. Death? Well, I mean, Thoughtseizes ya. We're gonna do the hand check first. Do we grind it out? Wow, they drew the Bone Crusher. So we played that in exactly the perfect way. Well, not exactly the perfect way, but the line we took worked. If we did not gain that life, we would have died to that Bone Crusher top deck. Well, now we will just fire up the best Knight of the Eben Legion, and wow. Well, that was a grind. That was a grind and a half, but wow, what a game. What a game. What a match. That was just a really interesting match all around, but we'll take it. Sweet, sweet. Go Xander. Much brew about nothing time. We're finding out if turn 3 Xander is good enough in, oh, okay, this is a turn 3 Xander hand. Is it good enough in Explorer / Pioneer? And this hand is, I mean, don't Thoughtseize us, but it's what we're hoping for. Ooh, how about if we Thoughtseize you to make sure you don't Thoughtseize us? Mono black aggro or vampires? Mono black aggro. Okay, so if we take this, our opponent does nothing next turn. We play Gifted Aetherborn, they triumph it. Rankles. This comes back anyway. Opponent's only got 2 lands. Actually, really interesting. If our opponent had more lands, I think it'd be Snap Rankle, but because they only have 2 lands, I think we're gonna take Blade of the Oni. And trust that by the time we get to the Rankle part of the game, hopefully we have answers. Now, land on black, Gifted Aetherborn, and Liliana's Triumph. Yup. Did they draw land? No. Opponent gets and hits us. Well, looks like Xander time to me. Sorin, take it down. Turn 3 Xander. Is it good enough against mono black? Xander you? Opponent does kind of get a free discard with this Demonic Embrace. Might be Demonic Embrace Rankle? I mean, I feel like we're in decent shape here. We got a Xander and a Sorin. I guess the blood is a kill Xander and then kill Sorin, but opponent passes. Oh my god, more. Play Dusk Legion's outlet, draw a card. Castle Lockway, Gifted Aetherborn. Lightning Helix with Sorin. To get rid of the Knight of the Even Legion. Xander, you? Milla cool 25. Wow, that's a lot of demonic embraces. Opponent goes to 14. I mean, I think we're good now. Now that our opponent, I mean, they don't even have any creatures. Demonic embrace doesn't do much until you get creatures down. Well, Sorin, we're gonna take up on this Xander. We're gonna, yeah, opponent. Once we gain 7, like, oh, it's, how do you beat that? How do you beat that? Well, turn 3 Xander ended up being good enough there. Opponent mono black Abrew. I think that means we want power word kill, feed the swarm, go down a corpse appraiser, go down a thought seize. Do I want Kolaghan's command? Probably. Let's go down to Dusk Legion Zealot for a Kolaghan's command and try it like that. All right, well, good enough that game. Even when Xander is not like super blowouty, it's still, I mean, it's still usually good enough to win. At least that's been our experience. I'm warming up to it. Like, it's not just like wrath your hand or whatever, but it's decent. It looks like a turn 3 Xander hand to me. I mean, we know this deck's gonna have a lot of discards, so. Well, I should say turn 3 Xander hand if we draw land number 3. Opponent cast a Lockway, and there's land number 3. Well, play that. Play, you know what, actually, I think we just pass. I think we just pass and then Heartless Act and then Sword and Xander win. Knight of the, oh my goodness, this is looking like last game. All right, kill Knight of the Even Legion. Opponent is not very good at drawing land number 3, apparently, and that's going to be a problem for them. This might just be a concession. Land Sorin. This is a good Xander, because opponent's got 6 cards in hand, so this is a discard 3. Wow, that's a blowout. Wow, that might be the best one yet. Woo! That's probably game. I think that's just game. Like, opponent has 2 lands, 3 cards in hand. How do they get back in this game? We got a 6/6 and a Sorin. Like, that just does it. That does it. Turn 3 Xander, I think, is actually good enough. Opponent discards a bunch of cards. Sure. Finds a land. Sure. It just doesn't, it doesn't matter. It's too late. It's too late. You're too dead. Opponent has a Murderous Rider. Yep. Nothing to sack, but Xander already was good enough. It already did its thing. Opponent passes. Land on red. Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of Murderous Rider. Take a Xander's Lounge. Tick up on the Corpse Appraiser. Probably should have taken the Pathway, actually. For some reason, I was thinking we could still make a land drop this turn. I don't really think it's going to matter, but it would have been, yeah, that would have, yeah, it would have been better. All right, kills the Corpse Appraiser, sure. Well, Gifted Aetherborn. Take up on the Aetherborn. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Go. Opponent is fighting a good fight after getting Xandered. They're not just giving up. They're still like they're still kinda in the game, honestly. Ooh, Hunted Nightmare. That's spicy. I'll Champion of Dust. Draw a couple cards. Take down Sorin. Champion of Dust. Draw a few more cards. Pathway on black. Thought Seize you. Take the Triumph. Hit you with a Gifted Aetherborn. Yeah, this is fine. So opponent can start growing this Haunted Nightmare, but we got the removal to take care of it. Could also get back a Xander, I guess. All right, runs out Murderous Rider. And passes. I'll get in with the Gifted Aetherborn. Now play Castle Lockway. And yeah, let's just pass. I think this is fine. We'll pass and Kolaghan's Command. Kind of waiting to see if they play this Demonic Embrace first. All right, plays the Demonic Embrace. So now we will Kolaghan's Command, discard a card, get back a creature. We will get back Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of whatever our opponent has left. This is good. Opponent, ooh, Cavalier of Thorns. Or Cavalier of Night? Night. Gonna get in, gain 5. Sure. Well, we will cycle Xander's Lounge. No, okay, Xander's Lounge into Xander. That is the ultimate new Capenna flavor win. Do we just kill that in attack? This is hitting for 5 and gaining 5. All right, okay, Castle Dracula. Red, blue, black. Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of the Cavalier. Take a Gifted Aetherborn. Play Gifted Aetherborn. Kill on a Nightmare. Drop to 8 for the moment. Hit you with everything. I think this should do it. So Bona can get another one of these in his for 8, but that's not lethal. And then we definitely have lethal on the backswing. Turn 3 Xander. It's good enough. It's good enough. Opponent Hero's Downfall. I mean, I guess they can try to stay on defense. Well, that'll take care of it. Swift End, the Murderous Rider. Attack with the crew, and that is Grixis Vampires. That is turn 3 Xander. Deck was good, surprisingly good, but we'll talk about that in the wrap up. Be right back. So what did we learn this week about Xander Vampires in Explore? And the deck did really well. In our video matches, we went 5-0, although there's a little bit of an asterisk. So you saw game 1, we milled some stuff and we're like, maybe we need Leyline of the Void. And I was like, I don't know if we're gonna actually add it. The very next match I played was a Cauldron Familiar deck, and we lost because we attacked with Xander and milled all of our opponent's stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm adding Leyline of the Void. I didn't end up including that match because then we played Sacrifice again. It's a really popular deck, apparently, in Explorer. I play against that deck all the time, and we ended up beating it with Leyline of the Void, which definitely helped. So that is a bit of a asterisk. We technically lost that match. Also, there was one other match where I played Sac again for like the 4th time, and I just straight up scooped on turn 1. I was like, we don't need another Sac match in this video. So 5-1, 5-1.5 if you count the turn 1 scoop, whatever. But the deck felt really, really good. As far as Lord Xander itself, it's not as good as you think it would be, but it's also better than you expect, if that makes any sense. So when it comes into play on turn 3, sometimes it's like discard 2 cards. At best, it's maybe discard 3 cards. Our opponent on turn 3 doesn't have that many permanents, so if they kill it right away, maybe they sack 1 thing, maybe they sack 0 things. The mill ability, sometimes it can be like a weird win condition, or at least pressure our opponent, but a lot of times it's a drawback until we bring in Graveyard Hate. On the other hand, it's a 6/6 on turn 3. Like when we go turn 3 Sorin Xander, and then it lives, our opponent's discarded some cards. We have the 6/6 on turn 3. We can start ticking up Sorin on it to give it lifelink and +1/+1 counters. So even if we don't get that much value off of its triggers, just being this massive lifelinking things to Sorin Vampire on turn 3 usually wins us the game. Like I don't think we lost any games where we had turn 3 Xander. And then in the late game, sometimes we just hardcast it and it's fine that way as well. Plus, the deck is just really solid. Like vampires have good creatures, they get good card advantage, the mana is good, you get all the good black interaction, fatal pushes, and thought seizes. Corpse Appraiser, I think, is a sneaky all-star in this deck. I really, really like Corpse Appraiser. I think it might be one of the most underrated cards in the deck. But I gotta say, I think turn 3 Xander actually is good enough. I don't know if you want the full 4 copies in Vampires, we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, every time we managed to pull off the Sorin Xander combo, we kind of just won the game. Even in games where Xander's ETB was not that impactful and our opponent only discarded like 1 or 2 cards. So I think it's actually pretty legit, and Vampires felt like a really nice option for the Explorer format. You got good removal for Winota, you get a ton of discard to fight against the control decks, plus you can just kind of grind them out with Castle Lock Wains and Champion of Dust and whatever. So all around, I think it's actually a pretty good Explorer deck. So that's been Xander Grixis Vampires. That's been our Abrew for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.